Cafe. I will be your host for the evening. I am Elemental. Happy Monday. This is the jump off. Finally, Monday has come back. Shout out to the song hero of the community, the dopest producer in the Zoomverse, the one and only RMT. If you're not down with RMT by now, you definitely should be. All right. We have been doing this for 145 weeks now. Y'all, where you been? Where you been? All right. We do this every Monday, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Although we might not be streaming on Facebook right now, maybe a little bit of a complication, but usually we are. If you're watching on one of those platforms and you'd like to join us in the Zoom, the number is on the screen. It is 279-995-364. Listen, it truly is a different world in the Zoom. Truly, come into the space, interact with the poets and the community. We do this thanks to some dedicated folks who pay these bills, right? So we would like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for hosting our free online events. You can add your energy to the mix with a tax-deductible donation by going to newyurekan.org/contribute or by hitting the Cash App at $New Eurekan Poets Cafe. All right. Make sure you're giving the usual host a follow, advocate of words with a Z, poetic license. Send that dude all positive energy. Hope you get well soon. You can find me at Elemen2al.com. Plug in lots of crazy things going on this year. I look to connect with as many of you as possible, collaborate in any way possible. All right. Tonight's theme, science fact. Like I mentioned last week, right? A little known device that we have all come to know and appreciate in some way, shape, or form is turning 16. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how folks feel about, how this device has maybe changed their life, or even the invention of said device, has changed pretty much everything we do with our lives now, right? One of the creators, there's a quote there. One of the creators said, every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. And this device is one of those things. Technology is also one of those things, right? So I'm looking forward to what everyone brings tonight. Even if your poem is not on theme, that is totally cool. We still look forward to hearing all of your incredible poetry. Next week's theme, it is MLK Day, and it's going to be in the spirit of freedom. All right. We're also going to look at our ancestry. All right. I want us to channel our ancestors and speak to the freedoms that we enjoy thanks to our ancestors. Right. Are we keeping up the good fight? Did we win? Are we losing? Right. All those types of things. Right. Those are the things I kind of want us to touch on in next week's theme. Excuse me. All right. Let's get to the rules. Unfortunately, there are some here too, but we got to deal with them. All right. Poets, turn your cameras on, please. We want to simulate a in-person open mic as much as possible. We love to see the exuberance that you use when you deliver your artistry. Plus, for voyeurism's sake, we'd like to see if you clean your room. So please turn your cameras on as you're getting ready to rip this evening. Also, as you're getting ready, have your poems ready. All right. If you're going analog, have the paper dog-eared and ready to rip. If you're going digital, make sure you have the file open. If you're using music, make sure the music is not copywritten. All right. We don't want the agents of the interwebs having any issues with our streams. So make sure if you're using music, it is original music. All right. Poets, you have 3 minutes to get down. Also with the 30-second intro. Quickly tell folks where they can find you, what you have going on, where we can plug in with you, and where we can stalk you if you don't show up, just so we can get you back into the energy of the Monday night. Also, as you're getting ready to rock, make sure you change your Zoom name to let the folks know how they can get in touch with you, coincide with what you're doing. All right. And also make sure you drop your information in the chat so folks can copy and paste, because some folks are lazy, myself included sometimes. All right. It is now officially night 30 for the babies, all right, because the founders of our Cafe have just made sure that we maintain a freedom of speech that is key and integral to the heartbeat of poetry. Therefore, there is no censorship. All right, it is a priority, and it will continue to run through the veins of every component of the cafe, and we will honor it to the fullest. All right, beyond any hatred or ism that people may use to exploit or manipulate people, which will not be tolerated, there is no censorship. Thou hath been warned. All right, this is truly a call and response space. When you see this after the poets perform, you'll see this. Make sure you click on this, and this is when you give the feedback to the poets. All right, when they open up their veins and their hearts and their past and their pain to you, and they're giving you all that passionate energy, this is when you get a chance to give it back to them, right? This is when you get a chance to share it with the room, right? To let these poets know, hey, you're not just screaming into the ether. We're all here with you, you know, helping to create even more of this energy to keep moving poetry forward. So when you see this, make sure you unmute, give the poets love. All right, sign up tonight is closed. Sign ups begin 24 hours before the open mic, which is Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. To sign up, you go to theneweurekan.org. You click on the full events calendar. You click on the Monday that you want to perform. You need an artist RSVP ticket. That's the only way to get on the guaranteed list, and they will not populate until 24 hours before the show, which is Sunday at 8 p.m. All right. Also, going on in the cafe is the Monday night open mic. Again, this is going on in the cafe, hosted by Soul. If you're in the area, make sure you're plugging into the brick and mortar. Also, the Wednesday night slam hosted by La Bruja. We got the Thursday night hosted by the one and only Thunderlung, and Friday with Jive Poetic. All right, tonight's list. Whew. Listen, I can't say how much it means to be sold out 2 weeks in a row for the first part of this year. Really makes my heart pound. And we've got some folks we haven't seen in quite a while. So let's get to it. Where are all my rowdy friends? Here are all my rowdy friends. They're here on Monday night, of course. Oh, it's so good to see all you beautiful people. Oh, listen, this is the whole reason why Monday night makes sense, is because of all you beautiful folks right here this evening. All right, I will put the list in the chat, and we will get the evening started as we usually do with the one and only Beanie Goddess, Deadpan Lizzie, setting the night off as only Deadpan can. Let the folks know where they can find you, and please set it off this evening. Good to see you. Floor is yours.
Beanie blessings to Elemen2al in our community. You can find me and my books, IGES_Strauss. If you want to sign one, let me know. Send me a DM. I took poetic license with this because that's what we do. We're poets. So this is 3 different forms. One's a panku, one is a septile, and one is a triole. It's called parsnippity, a thesis in 3 forms. Parsnippity is in fact not a word according to them. It will never be Googleable in the dumb phones. As a young child, I thought my mother was saying when we got snippy, stop being so parsnippity. She was actually saying persnickety. Perhaps this future poet was seeking license of linguistics before Zir could steer. Stop being so parsnippity. A dash of parsnip with a hint of condescending from the top of my 3rd eye down to my root chakra, making hypothesis and observations as a chickadee before those words were a part of my regular, sometimes homosexually vocabulary. Stop being so parsnippity. She was actually saying persnickety. Thank you. Beanie blessings.
Let's go. Unmute yourself. Give it up.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Pam.
Love.
Nice.
Thank you.
Beanie
Those
blessings,
cranials.
Deadpan. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. Michael, I apologize. But don't worry, I'll make sure you get what you have to say coming up very soon. Very soon. Thank you, Deadpan, for setting us off as usual. Make sure you're plugging into Deadpan. They've got books on books on books, and created their own form. I don't know if you heard what they said, right? They said a panku. That is a form that they themselves created. All right, and learn a little bit more about persnickety. Plug in with Deadpan Lizzie. Man, you folks just Monday night is the dopest night of the world. Let me tell you, and this community is. You guys are heartbeat, truly. Coming up next is the man that I mentioned. We will definitely hear from him coming up soon. Again, I will always have appreciation for this cat because he put me in a room with a bona fide legend, and he is a bona fide legend himself, the one and only Michael Sindler. Unmute yourself. Let the people know where they can find you online. The floor is yours. Good to see you.
Yeah, hardly the same kind of legend status, but thanks anyway. But not so much where you can find me, but if you want to find somewhere where you can get some help as a writer and any kind of thing you're doing, I just really have appreciated them in my life, and want to recommend lighthousewriters.org. So, just go and check it out. There are classes starting right now. There's loads of great events. So that being said, I'm not really going with the theme because, to be honest, I didn't even know what the theme was when I was picking stuff. And speaking of picking this first poem, I'm going to do a couple. I think I have time. This is called Pick the Pepper from the Stew. I tried to pick the pepper from the stew so I could sprinkle it on something new. But you can't pull a seasoning from the past and put it on the tongue or on the plate. Once it dissolves, it simply will not wait. Its subtle fragrance is too delicate to last. The precious saffron blossom of desire turns bitter when held too close to fire. A waste of effort for the farmer and the chef. The rows of spices resting in clear jars, voices of flavor plucked from near and far, trapped too long, become a song without a breath. I tried to hang a picture in the air, hoping that it would return my stare, but the gravity of the moment let me down. What remains in time is invisible, and yet we think we see just what we want to get. Leaping to reach, we only touch the ground. The portrait we remember posing for, time spent that once seemed such a chore, an image precious if only half remembered. Days and weeks waiting for paint to dry, shadowed ghosts reflected in our eyes, or a lost map to unrecoverable treasure. I tried to distill wine from vinegar. The astringent, bitter taste had no allure, but at least there is some sweet left in the sour. I tried to pick the pepper from the stew so I could sprinkle it on something new. Delicacies stay fresh for but a fleeting hour. And I'm going to do one that is just kind of sappy because that's me. It's called Poorly Hidden. It's poorly hidden in every poem, each dedication and declaration, always shakily underlined, the current on which every verse flows. It's an open secret, an embarrassment of sorts, albatross perhaps, or nightingale, a broken-winged dove, a sly, shy fox standing at a self-determined distance. It's poorly hidden, easily found. Letters falling in random order form your silhouette on page. Pained, pinned portraiture, imprecise, poetic impression. Poorly hidden, you know it's you. Okay, thank y'all. Always great to be here.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Michael Sindler.
Yeah, Michael.
Always like to hear you, Michael.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
Thanks so much, Michael. Very nice. Yes. Good to see you.
Michael Sindler. That cat, listen, he said, the first thing he said was where you can go to get some help, right? And a lot of times you come across people who want to make sure they're doing, they get better. But when someone extends their hand to help you get better, that is a key to letting you know that they are a member of a community and they care about what they do. Thank you, Michael Sindler, for all that you do, for being a valued member of our community and writing some pretty incredible poetry along the way. Thank you very much. All right, coming up next, we haven't heard from this gentleman in a while, so I am glad that he was able to get on the list, and I'm looking forward to what he has to bring this evening. The one and only Professor Platinum, Doug Silver. Unmute yourself. Let the people know where they can find you online. Floor is yours. Good to see you.
Thank you, Elemental, very much. It's great to see you and hear you and all the poets, as always. I have two quick character sketches tonight. Both of them are on theme. This first one's called The Signs, Part 1. She's seen the signs, and when she could, went through them like a checklist, one at a time. Love is love, agreed. Water is life, agreed. Science is real, agreed. And she remembers how crushed she felt driving by, seeing a sign, the whole sign with a big red X marking the spot. Hatred canceling love, she thought, trying and failing. Her daughter, 9 months young, strapped securely into her seat, staring out of the car window at smoke between the trees. Maybe it's a sign, she says to her daughter, but she really knows she's talking to herself. We're really leaving this time to someplace with more rain, to someplace with less pain. The ocean, maybe. Can we make it to the ocean? She laughs. Her daughter makes a sound somewhere between a burp and a sneeze. Agreed, the mother replies. That's what I wanted to hear. Yes, we're finally on our way. Next short poem is called The Signs, Part 2. He's seen the signs, and when he could, went through them like a checklist, one at a time. Black Lives Matter, agreed. No human is illegal, agreed. Science is real, agreed. Driving home through heavy rain after yet another graveyard shift, longing for sleep as the world yawns itself awake. Rivers over the banks again, making jokes. Why did the river cross the road? He almost laughs. Because it could. Getting home, if this is home, just a little while longer, he almost laughs. His basement apartment with a foot of water covering the cement floor and more. He grabs some clothes, his computer, his toothbrush, gets back inside his car and drives. Another sign, he almost laughs, it's time to go. Not sure where, uphill, someplace with some higher, with some drier ground. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Doug Silver.
Thank you.
Doug does a great.
Way to work together too. That was great.
Agreed.
Right. Love is love. Agreed. Right? No human is illegal. Agreed. Thank you, Professor Platinum, for giving us our morality lesson of the day. No human is illegal. Agreed. Whew. Powerful. Thank you for sharing that with us this evening and coming through and bringing all of your incredible energy. All right. From one incredible poet to the next, he is the one and only cat that I know who actually chopped it up with the founders and has more claim to fame in this whole space than I do. The one and only Jedi Master, the one and only Paul Skiff Please unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is good to see you. The floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the warm intro, Elemental. Props to RMT making the electricity flow in the right direction. I just got into the fact thing on this. Why aren't there any scientific facts about hell? Can an academic degree be measured in Fahrenheit or Celsius? Is the science of love chemistry that mixes I do not know what it is about you with certainty fleshly contact brings to an end result whose chemicals share their terminal secret only with a sensation that cannot be put into words unless they are inadequate to the pleasure nonetheless convincing the same way a place you have been is simply known to you? If I wore a fact like it was pride or embarrassment, would I be able to prove a hypothesis by mouthing a boast or blushing? Since one person's fact is a human responsibility to own, would its sale or theft be the freedom of knowing for sure? How come the secret power of knowing is a privilege trick founded in the hoodwink concoction subordination plays by mixing surrender to authority into the brain trap listening can be when there is too much eagerness to believe? It is scientific fact. Dispute is good for scandal. The location of life always disappears when examined by purposelessness. This is the bliss of being unsure. Certainty is a useful tool. Scientific fact. Mr. Tezasomok is not your Chihuahua. What you perceive to be singing La Cucaracha, wearing a sombrero while dancing the hat dance on its hind legs, is the manifest, destinized, racist mascot of your own mind. If I know what you know, does that make a fact or twin illusions? And if we agree, does that make our minds intimate with each other? Do I know a part of you I can only touch with my thought? Would scientific fact and legal fact crossbred be interfactual marriage that could produce a mixed fact? Are the transfactual subjected to greater incidence of factual violence? Put on your fact hat and think up knowledge. Did you see in the news where this fact no one paid attention to or believed drowned a whole nation? Yes, it hurts when proof comes after the fact. If E equals MC squared, then equivalence is unity that nevertheless will need to play tricks on its past of separation in the other than zero incidents where one thing that gets repeated to stay and units of description elude the principle through neuroplasticity worn by the in-between. If E equals MC squared, the electrodynamics of my tongue are where the alphabet is tripping on mathematics. When loving, it is possible for imagination's desire to outfact the real at the speed of emotion. The difference between an organic fact and manufactured fact is value placed on human possibility and human gullibility. When the obvious needs discovery, like we all do not see the same moon, but I think you know what I am talking about, even when a tool to tame your mind comes off the totalitarian assembly line of belief. So, when confronting a fact, scientific or otherwise, be careful of your belief and acceptance. Many facts are mostly bent human motives, posing as a ruse, needing a mind to smother and subdue. But I am not telling you anything you do not already know. And that is a fact.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for
Keepers
Paul.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
I can't count the grand slams.
Where
is that in print, Paul?
Oh,
Keepers back.
just
That's
unbelievable.
that's one for the ages.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
That's one for the ages.
Yeah, I would agree.
Listen, what this I warned you at the beginning, right? Maybe I didn't. There are some explicit lyricists amongst us. There are some that the force is very strong within, and the Jedi Master is one of them. All right, he does this, and he is proof that the proof comes after the fact, because the fact is that Paul Skiff has been doing this and doing it well for longer than I've been doing it, and I'm gonna continue to make way for that cat because he's still one of the best. Can a degree be calculated in Celsius or Fahrenheit? Come on, Paul. Come on. This is what I love about poets, man. We take what people know and we turn it into a Rubik's Cube, right? And then we give it back to the person and say, now solve for you. I love it. I love it. Then he mentioned the professor. We're getting to the professor in just a minute. Don't worry. He said, put your fact hat on. It's coming. Make sure you got it close if you don't have it on. The one and only Paul Skiff, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you are giving him a follow. Whew. Coming up next, listen, this next poet, we haven't seen this next poet in a while, and I would understand because they have their hands in so many different things, art galleries and books, and listen, and happens to be one of the best dressed cats that I've seen around since this Zoom verse started, the one and only dapper gent himself. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is great to see you. The floor is yours.
Elemen2al, it is so good to be here and to see you. Yeah, I'm a little busy. I tune in quite a bit, but I haven't read in a bit. So you can find me at DG Clearing somewhere on the net. So I've got one poem for you tonight. My senior year. There was so much to think about my senior year. Where to go to school or just get a job. What would happen to my girlfriend? What would happen to my friends? Would I get drafted? Would I go? Would I go to Canada? I guess I thought about that a lot. Turning 18, going off to war, worrying about dying, worrying about killing people. There weren't any classes about how to shoot another person or how to stay alive. when people are trying to kill you any way possible. I thought a lot about what I learned in school. In English, I learned how to punctuate a sentence. In science, they taught me about facts and reactions. In history, I learned about great men and women. In math, they taught me about numbers. In Phi-Ed, I learned how to attack people. In art, I learned how to be abstract. In language, all I remember is how to say, oui. On television, it was like watching numbers being drawn for a bingo game. As a gray-haired man in a well-pressed suit reached into a giant clear drum and pulled out a blue capsule out of it, opened it and called the number inside and put it on the board. The lowest number was the first to be drafted. 279, July 4th. 365, February 26th. 032, April 1st. 001, September 14th. Bingo! My whole family watched. We hugged, laughed, and cried like we were watching the first appearance of the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. They said this was a scientific fact, that there was no favoritism, and the fairest way to choose who would serve and who would go. My grandson just registered for the draft. The technology has not changed. It's a scientific fact. I hope his number is never called.
Oh, mute yourself. Give it up for DG Clara.
That was a great poem.
Yeah, wow,
DG.
fantastic, DG, really.
It was a scary time.
Wow.
Yeah. Hopefully the kids don't have to go through that again. Love you all. Blessings to everybody. It's so good to be here. Be safe.
Great to see you.
Beautiful feel.
Thank you so much, DG, a very, very valued member of our community. Oh, listen, those numbers, I don't know about anybody else, but those numbers, as you were calling them out in succession, those 3-digit numbers, those were haunting to me. I don't know, of all of that, it was those numbers, right? Because it almost sounded, which indeed it was in some cases, a death sentence, right? You said there was no classes about how to stay alive, right? And now you're left to this chance, right? Listen, the whole part of that, DG, I love our community, man, because they put so much. And this is why it's important to have your cameras on, folks. All right. So we can see all of that expression. All right. Without digging into that poem may not have set all the way in with some folks, but that piece right there, DG, that part of the performance right there just made it that much more real for people coming at them, no matter through their cameras and all. Thank you, DG. That was amazing. Make sure you're plugging into DG Clearing, all right, a mainstay of our community. Listen, before we go on, let me shout out a few folks in the room. Mia Aguilera is here. So good to see you, Mia. Whitney Salgado is here. Always good to see Whitney in the building. Looking forward to hearing y'all's poetry at some point this year. Mark Colby is in the building. Marsha Rivera is here. Always good to see Marsha, Melinda Lucas, always checking us out. Appreciate your energy. And Mr. Speaker, always glad to have that cat in the building. All right, let's get to our next poet. I will shout out some more folks later. This next young gentleman has found himself in a few different parts of our country doing the things that we love to do. This young gentleman has taken his guitar and his mode of transportation and has virtually flown into the storm, all right, to take his poetry on the road and find himself in the space of some incredible poets, the one and only propaganda poet. Unmute yourself, let the folks know where they can find you online. The floor is yours, brother. It is good to see you.
As Professor Platinum said, and as you mentioned, if I cut out early, it's because I'm looking for higher ground. I'm looking for drier ground. Mama Gaia had some different plans for this vacation than I did. So, given tonight's theme, you all probably heard this one already, but you know, it's relevant. So I love you all. You are amazing. If it weren't for you, I'd be dead. So thank you all for being who you are and doing what you do and making the world a better place. In the age of algorithms, nothing is true. The data is driven and the vehicle is you. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. Stop, look and listen to Raining Death on the Airwaves till you feel a comfortable numbing just between your ears. Free thought lulled into a dead calm, pessimist, subliminal mind rape, the assassination of the soul. Lifetime programming for women. Programming women. Movies for guys who like movies. No sissy boy chick flicks allowed here because everyone knows that real men still don't cry. They get even. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. I can't tell if I should be terrified, troubled, irritated, or just plain pissed off at this quagmire of electrical currents trying to drown us on the wake of 15-minute fame. Netflix, Xbox, satellite dish. How many channels do you wish? 100 million billion to choose from, but do any of them actually teach you anything even remotely close to real? Synthetic clothes, pathetic shows, what's in, what's out, what's new today? Shit, punk. That was old yesterday. While warm, wet mud, blood of our mother is scarred and infected with cold, hard concrete and steel. Birds and bees and flowers and trees are battered and bruised by self-starting signs everywhere. A sign of one great big festering neon distraction. I have a suggestion to keep you all occupied, especially if you're in California right now. Learn to swim. Because when the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. And for just $19.95, for just $24.95, for just $39.95 plus postage and handling, you too can own a piece of the American dream. But what they don't tell you is once you buy into that vacuum, you have to spend every waking moment of every breath of every day of every moment of every time you wish with the time just to stop by and say hi. But you can't because you're too busy trying to crawl and climb and rip and rend and tear and hope and pray just to survive, catch a glimpse of the sun. And if you're really lucky and, you know, let's be honest, a little obedient, you might even get to steal a 2-hour window into the lifestyles of the rich and famous. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. Well, Monday night online New Yo poetry family, I know where to find those birds and bees and flowers and trees and mud and blood. And I refuse to waste all my time wishing that I had more time with you. So when you come on my place of business, you'll find out that I made sure that I'm not teaching on Monday nights anymore, so I can be here on Mondays from here on out. When you come to my place of business, you'll just find a simple sign, gone on tour. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for encouraging my behavior. Thank you all for being amazing and making the world a better place when we really need it to be a better place right now. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
Thank
Give it
you,
up for
Propaganda.
Propaganda
That was great.
Be
Poet.
around every
Oh,
week.
the encouragement is mutual.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Amazing.
Tell him.
Yeah.
Love Beckett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love Beckett.
All of that behavior, all of it. Woo, tell them, y'all. Listen. It doesn't matter if you are in the eye of the storm or on a beach with a umbrella with a drink in it. We are here for your energy, brother. Thank you. Make sure you're being safe first and foremost, man. You know, if you need to find higher ground, make sure you do. All right. Unless you're one of those storm chasers, make sure you're going the opposite direction of the storm. All right. Higher ground, definitely a good thing. Take care of yourself out there. Really appreciate you for coming through. And I'm glad that you cleared up your Monday nights, man. Right. Our community is definitely blessed with you being more of a regular in this space, man. So thank you for making sure that that is going to be something that we can look forward to going forward. Appreciate you, man, for real. Listen, I love that line. I had to make sure that I said it. He said the data is driven and the vehicle is you, right? Make sure you know who's at the wheel of your conscious, for real, right? And this is why this theme is so relevant to what we're doing. Again, I mentioned these things, right? 16 years, this particular one has been in our lives, right? It's been around for a little bit longer than that. But this is a very, very good way to sneak some things in, right? Sting is always listening, right? I catch it listening to me all the time. So I love the fact that, you know, we are making sure that we're giving it different things, right? We are pushing technology and not allowing technology to push us. Appreciate you, Propaganda, for coming through, and always, always love your energy. All right, coming up next is a cat that I mentioned earlier. All right. This next gentleman has a tendency to raise the IQ in every room he steps in. As the Jedi Master mentioned, he is not your Chihuahua, but he is a dope ass poet, the one and only Mr. Tessasomo. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Folks, get prepared for your TED Talk because it's happening this evening. Good to see you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Polskett, for such a great shout out. And I thank you. I didn't have to follow you. I'm glad I had some buffer in there, especially with the great DG clearing. Good to see him back, and Propaganda and everybody else. Again, this is the book. Pick it up on Amazon. And I have a nice piece for you guys, storytelling time. It's titled Magisteria. Quote, I am somehow less interested in the weight and convolution of Einstein's brain than in the near certainty that people of equal talent have lived and died in cotton fields and sweatshops. Stephen Jay Gould. Fade in, exterior, Tenochtitlan, 1524 day. 3 years after the fall of Tenochtitlan, 12 Franciscan friars arrived on May 1524, ordered by Emperor Charles V, and with full papal bulls and the powers of Pope Adrian VI, even though he had passed in September 14, 1523. Their goal to evangelize the natives of the Indies. The news traveled wide and far as intended by the magisterium of colonial control. Akalkonetsin, canoe boy, a 13-year-old orphan from the last battle of Tenochtitlan on August 13, 1521, finishes his daily commerce of selling his vegetables. He merchandises from the Chinampas from Xochimilco. He breaches his canoe and heads to the remains of the temple of Quetzalcoatl. This was the place where he would go with his aged parents to venerate their ancestors. Today, it's located on 16 Guatemala Street, Mexico City, just on the eastern border of the city, near the road to Toluca. An old Siwa Ilama, old lady, sits selling latex offerings, the traditional offering for Quetzalcoatl. Cal Conetzin secretly approaches the old woman. She's looking down on her offerings of latex rubber, does not bother to look up. Cal Conetzin. Panolti netlamati notsi iwa ilama. Excuse me, beloved old one. Siwa ilama. Well, tiotlag no telpoch. Good afternoon, my young boy. Akal Conetzin. Kanin tishimati teopishkatimaltli. Do you know where the priest is? Siwa ilama. San nima nakan. He's nowhere. Akal Conetzin. Kitos neki. What do you mean? Siwal ilama. Kamach intesh tepetla. Don't you see what you don't want to see? The old lady shuffles her latex rubber balls, puts one on each cardinal corner, bumbles to herself. In Tlahuiztlampa, in Cihuatlampa, in Mictlampa, in Huitztlampa, the region of the east, the west, the north, and the south. She holds the fifth ball in midair. A tear drops from her eyes and pulverizes the clay dust on her tilma, her skirt. Siwalilama intlaltikpak, the urge, he says. This last ball represents the fifth son. You probably don't know the Huehuetlactoli, the old stories. Akal Conetzin amo, no. Siwalilama. It is no longer the time of Quetzalcoatl. He had sailed away, probably with the bearded Malinche, to the Huitztlampa, the south, Cortez's Guatemala expedition. Akol Conetzin squats down and quietly whispers, Nemoa, go on. Siwalilama. Do you want to hear more? If not, run away and hide under the priests who dress like old ladies with their skirts. You can hide under their tenates. Akal Conetzin, no, nemoa. Go on. Siwalilama. When Quetzalcoatl went to the underworld to restore humanity from the fourth son, it was Xolotl, his doppelganger, who got him into the underworld, Mictlampa. Siwalilama drops the fifth ball, ponders it for a while in silence, then starts to hill the loose clay till it's buried. Siwalilama. As a result, Xolo got into political problems with the other gods and he decided to go hide. Akal Conetzin. Why did he hide? Siwalilama. He foresaw the coming of the bearded strangers, decided he would hide. Akal Conetzin. Where is he now? Siwalilama. I think you mean, what is he now? Akal Conetzin. Memoa. Go on. Siwalilama. He decided to go live as an axolotl in Lake Chalco. Akal Conetzin. Really? That is where I live. How can I talk to him? Siwalilama. He's very shy, but I'm told there is a way to get his attention. Akal Conetzin. Nemoa. Go on. Siwalilama. Go back to your chinampas in Xochimilco, collect as many earthworms and find a pochot, a silk floss tree by the water canals, and at night leave your offering. Go back the next night and you will find him there. Akal Conetzin jumps up in excitement, leaves some of his leftover vegetables and gives it to the Siwalilama. Akal Conetzin. Tlazo kamati. Thank you. Fade out.
You just give it up for Mr.
Incredible
Good to hear you,
storyteller,
Tess.
Tess. It's talk time.
It's a cliffhanger. We'll have to come back for the next scene.
Yes.
Ted
Look
Stock.
forward to it.
Ted Stock.
Hey, listen, hold on really quick. Mr. Tesasomo, unmute yourself really quick. I have a question for you. First of all, two actually. First question, what language did you flip that into? Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure everyone can hear you. 1 second. I asked you to unmute. Hold on. Still can't hear you, Mr.
Okay, I'm ready.
There we go. So, first of all, what language did you flip that into?
That's Nahuatl. That's one of our languages. That's my native language.
Ah, beautiful. Second question. how important is it to put your native tongue in your poetry?
Oh, it's absolutely important. I'm like, you guys are my guinea pigs. I'm trying to, we have to keep making it alive, It has to be alive.
Thank you, Mr. Tess. I just wanted to, make sure that the folks knew why it's important, and as I mentioned before, if you want to speak in your native tongue, you write your poetry in your native tongue, please do, and bring it to our community. Okay. And that is a perfect way. Like Mr. Tess said, yes, we are your guinea pigs, right? But we're also your biggest supporters. All right. So bring that poetry to us and test it out, try it out on us. If you're going into the slam or going into somewhere else, listen, we are here for you. Thank you, Mr. Tez, for raising the IQ in the room as you always do, and for giving us a little bit of a lesson on that. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, coming up next is a newer mainstay of our community. Woo! Love this dude's energy, right? You can find this cat in so many different spaces. Every time I go into a workshop or a writing room, this cat finds himself in it with all the gusto he has to give. The one and only Gustav Salas. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is good to see you. The floor is yours.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Elemental. I am found at Instagram, the Magus 801. I have 2 pieces tonight, both brand new shit. The first one is a micro poem on theme. It's called Science Fact. Climate change is science fact. It's up to us. We've got to act. Will fusion power save the day? Can people get out of their own fucking way? This next piece is called Dumb Fool Fighting, and it's dedicated to the Republican House of Representatives in the 118th Congress. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, no, no, no. Everybody was dumb fool fighting. Their brains been hit by lightning. The future looks a little bit frightening because of the laws they're writing. There was Funky Pervy Gates from funky Florida. He was fucking things up. He was fucking things down. McCarthy is the speaker, but he won by a squeaker. People's House all dysfunction. They have no compunction. Everybody was dumb fool fighting. Ah! These cats, their assholes tightening. Oh! Kind of funny, but a little bit frightening. Ah! When you see the laws they're writing, these funky losers want to take your Medicare and Social Security, leave us all in disrepair. Green ghosts are George Santos, the funky liar. They want to set the country on fire. Oh, no, no, no. 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 Be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone. Sure enough, everybody was dumb fool fighting. Ha! They want the USA whitening. Ha! In fact, it's a little bit frightening. Ha! You can hear the tension heightening. Oh, no, no, no. Ha! Everybody was dumb fool fighting. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, yes, it's a little bit frightening. Oh, no, no, no. Ha! Oh, no, no, no. Ha! Oh, no, no, no. Ha! Oh, no, no, no. Ah! Thank you.
Mute yourself. Give it up.
That was perfect. That was great.
Good job. Good job.
Yes, great job.
Yeah.
Gustav for president. Gustav for president.
Okay, tell him the real
Yeah,
deal.
oh.
Hey, listen, he won't be messing around with that madness. Listen, this is what I love about having poetic license, right? Because this is the ability to take whatever kind of stimulus you find, stimuli that you add into your mix, and you come up with gusto. Damn it, gusto. Oh man. Listen, first of all, that song is I've flipped that song in so many different ways. But when you said they want the USA whitening, God damn it, Gustav. That's what I'm talking about, man. Again, we take what people know, we make it a Rubik's Cube, and we give it back to them. That just gets my heart pumping, man. I'm telling you, that energy is flowing through the community this evening. And listen, thank you so very much for being a valued member of our community. All right, coming up next. Listen, all right. So this next poet was around quite a bit early last year. And then, life happens. And I had to make sure that I let this poet know, hey, we still care about you. You're still a valued member of our community. If you can find the time to come back and share with us, we hope that you do. And I asked her, which I'm going to ask her now, hopefully you were either writing the next great novel or having amazing sex or doing combination of both. I understand that there is a very big time constraint, but unmute yourself. The one and only Jody Ortega has returned. Where you been, Jody? It is so good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Listen, let the folks know where they can find you online. And where the hell you been, Jody? Listen, thank you for tuning in with us this evening. Let the folks know where they can find you. The floor is yours. Good to see you again.
Sure. Elemental, you are in your element. Thank you so much for uplifting me. I am going to start with my piece and then I'll put my info in the chat. Ready? Guys, Happy New Year. Fuck, I guess. 2022. Another 365 days of interrogation with a smile. White women asking me, where are you from? Demanding to know, where are you really from? As if I was an uninvited guest in her home and I've just rested my feet on her coffee table that was just cleaned by a woman who looks like me. What country do your parents originate from? She rephrases the question, the annoyance in her eyes showcasing her Jim Crow's feet. As if I got up from her couch, kicked down the locked door of her son's bedroom, took a baseball bat, then sauntered into her bedroom, smashed open a safe, took a family heirloom and said, isn't it beautiful how it shines in the light? Oh, it's mine now. I discovered it. If you follow me on Instagram, you can look at it whenever you want. I would just have to accept your friend request. But kids, sometimes where are you from is them wanting to know what I am doing here, taking up space without their permission, as if space wasn't infinite, as if white men have not walked on the moon, as if the US military does not occupy over 100,000 hectares of land and water in the country that my parents originate from. Shit, don't look now. Okay, it's the same guy from last week. White man at the checkout counter, will he retaliate with his words, Mr. Gunn? Quick think. Okay, if I call out his racist behavior towards that store employee wearing a hijab, yeah, I might die. He spreads his toxic gas, harmful to all living things. He comes home to a clean house and clean children and a hot dinner, all prepared by a woman who looks like me. And then his wife screams, "We've been robbed." This just in. After the Civil War, 1.5 million white women signed up to be members of the KKK. Now their granddaughters wear shirts that say, making history, as if they were never at the table when the system was designed, as if they don't play the perpetual victim while sleeping with the enemy, as if their grandmothers only picked out the place settings. White supremacy, like atoms, make up everything. And we've sulfured enough. But here you are, sharing heroic tales of feeding starving children in Asia, as if they could eat pages of scripture, as if they could turn your words into bread and fish, as if they could turn your body heat as you push yourself to the center of the group photo. Smile. As I'm resting, burnt out from this constant risk assessment, you ask, so what are your New Year's resolutions? Do you have any food struggles? I don't struggle with food. White supremacy struggles with me. For taking up space, for reaching for the stars, for being out of this fucking world. Funny how a country 7,000 plus islands strong was deemed incapable of self-rule by the US government, yet here you are, dropping off your whites at our laundromat. I'm not asking permission, and don't bother saving me a seat. I'll sit on the floor and use my fingers to eat the rice your cookbooks have classified as dirty. So, new year, new me? Meh. I'm positive I'm not a problem because I was never at that table. And peace.
Unmute yourself.
Yes. Jody,
Very
Jody.
powerful.
Yes. Fuck
Yes.
yeah.
Fire.
Yes. Damn it.
Fire.
Yes.
Heavy.
Fire.
Yeah, loving it.
Fire.
That is so incredible, Jody. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You.
Fire.
Jody. I apologize if I cut anyone off there. Jody, where you been? Right? You start speaking that revolutionary language, you know, my blood starts pumping. Jody Ortega, make sure you're giving them a follow. Welcome back. Happy New Year indeed. So good to see you. Wow, when you just dig into stuff like that, it's hard, right? It's hard. Like you said, white supremacy struggles with me. Oh, it's hard. Oh, it's hard. Pushing themselves into the middle of pictures. Come on, like, come on, right? We know what the fallacies look like, right? And the real people doing it for real. Thank you, Jody. Make sure you don't find yourself away from us for so long because that energy is powerful. Jody Ortega, a valued member of our community. Make sure you find yourself back here as much as possible, Jody. Thank you for staying up and hanging out with us. All right, real quick, shout out a couple more folks. I did see Holly Googe in the building. Always good to see Holly. Kimberly Nicole, appreciate you for coming through this evening. I saw Madeline Lugo. Nancy Helderson is here. Nick Baldwin is here from last week. Hopefully that cat gets a chance to sign up again. And Amanda Belmer, appreciate you for being here this evening and sharing in the energy. Coming up next is a cat that I like to say is smooth as the other side of the pillow, man. I'm telling you, even in real life, this cat gets down like this. He commands the mic. No matter how the size of the stage, this cat does this for real. The one and only Complicated Passions. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Good to see you, brother. The floor is yours.
Thank you. You can find me here on Monday nights at the New Rican Poets Cafe or dark_man_blues. And you can find me touring with the Great Beards of Poetry. Check it out. This is the Complicated Broadcast Systems. We interrupt your program as to bring you this special announcement. We will return to you as soon as you have been moved. You see, I'm going to love you with all of my senses. Wait, let's rewind that. I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to love you with all of my senses, not just the 5 they mentioned, my 360 coming in dimensions. Encompassing, if I were making love, I would inhale the scent of you like the sheets do. Take your breath away like a silent movie to be deeper into you, you singing to me, and I come alive. As the fire in your body engulfs the depth of my soul, I feel you like music. You see, we all flow differently. Some of us flow rhymes and call it therapy. She said, write into me and make it nasty. And now she knows I would read her. It felt good discovering myself. True story, this past forgotten, these ancient memories feeding my soul. I wanted more and she was giving, inviting me like home. She shared her emotions, leaving echoes on wall paintings. I spoke her name and she's dark girl magic. It wasn't her appearance I fell into thinking this what makes me. She was that dare I Needed I, had to. She spoke her mind, and I don't mind the inner beauty moves me. I could taste the hunger. After all, she's temptation. If only she knew, dark girl, I'll be loving you like a blind man would do. Every line curves too while painting my imagination. You see, I close my eyes when I hold you, my wanting embrace discovering the goddess of my temptation. Let me caress you in anticipation of your desire. Know this, as I trace you to wet, picture this silhouette, matching every part of you, like the wind finger painting my affection, your body becoming my canvas, from thought to perfection, as I love the skin you're in. This has been the Complicated Broadcast Systems. We return you to your regular scheduled program, the Norican Poets Cafe.
Oh shit, unmute yourself, give it up for Complicated.
Shit. Real good.
Touch that dial.
CP in the house, boy. You ain't right.
Good for you.
That is
Yeah,
what
good
I'm
for you.
talking about, folks. That is how you completely open up and extend your poetic license, right? Cat got his own broadcasting system, right? That's how you do it, right? No, I am my own antenna. Man, that I told you, cool as the other side of the pillow. And now that cat even said he'll inhale you like the sheets do. Ooh, listen, some people make it difficult for cats, for those of us who are not love poets. You make it pretty difficult for us, man, saying that kind of stuff, man, but you got that pretty good. So thank you for coming through, a mainstay of our community. Make sure you are following Darkman Blues. That cat has got a million things going on. All right, coming up next is our brother from the West Coast. Listen, yeah, there he is. Listen, this cat is another published author, many books, right? Usually reads out of one of them. The passages are usually 100% fire. I'm surprised that they are even able to be contained in a book. The one and only D. Allen. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online, how they can plug in to what you have going on. It is good to see you, man. The floor is yours.
Tonight, I'm going to be doing one poem for 3 minutes following the theme of science fact. But in this case, it's science fact coupled with something else. This is called Invasive Species. Quick ecology lesson. A species of animal or plant from one ecosystem will transport themselves to another, thereby introducing themselves to it. Upon entering their new habitat, the introduced species will crowd out native inhabitants in a competition over available resources, usually land. Soon after the introduced species extend their reach into other areas and repeat the process, which places native species at risk. In addition, the number of invaders multiply over time. Then they become a permanent part of the ecosystem. This lesson applies to the inner city. Invaders. From suburban tracts visits its concrete canyons, valley of steel and glass, its avenues, its barrios, epicenters of non-white culture, then flood them with their amassing numbers. The working class and poverty class are driven out, homes emptied, city slaves and bulldozers due to rest. Arising from out of nowhere, shiny, new boxy Bauhaus rendition buildings, affluence, soullessness, and non-culture cover each street corner. Monuments to smug, self-indulgent, mock European classiness. The urban habitat is now a city of the walking dead, for its true heart have already been impaled and exsanguinated. the moment the invasive species gained their collective foothold. Meanwhile, streets are cleaner, walkable, safer, as well-fed, well-dressed newcomers sip their wine, eat brie and wheat crackers, making themselves at home. And that poem was called Invasive Species. From this mic to your ears, I'm D. Allen. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year.
Unmute yourself,
Great.
give it up for
Thanks,
D.
Always
Allen.
great.
Great D. Allen. Yeah.
Oh,
Invasive species.
yeah, just like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
D. Allen, invasive species.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's a comeback.
Okay, look, okay, body snatchers. Tell them, CC. Excuse me, listen. D. Allen is one of those poets that will make you listen to them, right? As you sip your wine and eat brie and wheat crackers, if that's your thing, he'll make you listen, right? I truly dig. That guy said the city slaves and the bulldozers would do the rest once the suburbanites come and invade the neighborhoods, right? You only get that kind of perspective when you live in those neighborhoods where gentrification keeps rolling along through, right? And that's how you're able to recognize, right? Even ghetto birds, we recognize the sound of those things, but you also know the difference between ghetto birds and a warring faction. So, D. Allen, a valued member of our community, always glad that you make it to Monday night and share your incredible work. Thank you very much. All right, before we get on to the next, folks, I want to make sure that I am giving time to the dopest producer in this Zoom verse, the one and only Ron Mark Thompson. You down with RMT? If not, by now you should be. Unmute yourself, man. Let the folks know what's going on in your world. How you doing tonight, Ron?
I'm doing okay, and I swear I did not pay Elemen2al to say all these nice things about me. So thank you so much. Thank you again.
Take it away, man.
Yeah, thank you again for helping out when Advocate is not available today. We hope that Advocate is returning soon, but until that time, Elemen2al is in his element, as one of the other poets mentioned here. So thank you again. Also shout out to Ray Chain. I'm also now officially helping her out on Thursday. So it is my pleasure to be tech existing, wonderful, great hosts online with the New Oregon Poets Cafe. You can find me at Ron Mark Thompson on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I just put that in the chat along with the New Oregon Poets Cafe social media. As Elemen2al mentioned, we are back to in-person programming this week at the cafe. Right now in the cafe, the Monday night in-person open mic hosted by Soul is happening. Wednesday, we have the Poetry Slam, which is hosted by La Brua, and our other regular programming, Fridays, Saturdays. One note though, because I know some people have asked me, the hybrid open mic and karaoke sessions, which would have happened this Saturday, the second Saturday of the month, are not happening this month. We are hoping to bring both back next month in February. We will keep you posted. Also, the Sunday Let's Write a Book of Poems workshops are currently on hold, but again, once Advocate returns, we also hope to have them return to you guys, hopefully later this month or by next month at the latest. Though. And talking about Advocate of Words, if like me, you miss our wonderful Monday night host, I've talked to him a few times in the past weeks, but obviously we miss him very much. He actually is guest teaching a workshop at the Bronx Council on the Arts, BCA, which is happening starting tomorrow on 4 Tuesdays, 4 classes online, 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's part of the Bronx Memoir Project. I've been published in that book before. You have to be a Bronx resident to be published, but in order to attend the classes. You do not have to be a Bronx resident. Anyone can attend the free classes. He is one of the many wonderful guest teachers at the Bronx Council on the Arts. And again, it's coincidentally tomorrow and the next following 3 Tuesdays, he is teaching an online workshop. I put the Eventbrite link in the chat, free tickets. Go ahead and support him and the Bronx Council on the Art and let him know that we want him back, obviously. All right, enough about me and Advocate. Let's continue with this powerful lineup we have today. I mean, what a great theme. What a wonderful poets. And here coming up next is Alexander, who actually visited New York City 2 months ago to see Advocate and me. Unfortunately, that weekend, Advocate didn't feel well. I couldn't make it to Manhattan, so we all missed each other. But Alexander, another reason you have to come back to New York City eventually. Just let me know like 2 or 3 weeks in advance so I can make sure that we're, there. But Alexander, it's great to have you back. Happy New Year. Let everyone know where we can follow you and then go ahead with your 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, once I'm back in New York, I'm sure to let you know, and I'm expected to see you and everyone else. It's always great. So the theme for tonight is science fact. So the first 2 lines of my poem are: the science fact is so important, the one that also has great prospects. Falcon 9 is a SpaceX rocket, a successful commercial project. Little over 1 week ago, it launched satellites into the orbit. They have different dimensions and weights. Falcon 9 is like a bus, comes and takes all its passengers into the space, which are these satellites in our case. In our college, the class has begun. You'll gain more knowledge and have more fun. It is perfect to get extra units. It is popular with high school students. One man who graduated from here is an inventor and engineer. If you like science, then maybe you could design a new great startup too. We have an interesting space project, and I want everyone to know it. So come and join my class, it's fine. You'll learn about the Falcon 9, about SpaceX and science facts, and maybe once you understand this, you will discover stars and planets and distant galaxies. Amazing. The space is waiting. Start the engine.
All right, everyone, please unmute yourself and give a round of applause too.
Nice, Mr. Goldberg.
Yeah. Question, everything. Yeah. Question.
Space projects. There's a lot of things that you can read into that. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, I couldn't say it better. This is why we unmute you guys so that you can tell all your fellow poets how you feel. Thank you so much, Alexander. Powerful, necessary to hear. Was so glad to have you back online, and good to hear that you're coming back to New York City soon again. Looking forward to meet you in person very soon. Thank you again, Alexander. All right, another mainstay who is also back here after a few weeks. Happy New Year to you, Abraham. Glad to have you back again. So tell everyone where we may find you, and then go ahead with your 3 minutes. Wonderful to see you again and hear you. Let's hear from you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, good. Last time I had issues with my signal, so that's why I asked. The guys can find me on Instagram at The Righteous Poet, spelled WRITEOUS. And I got a couple that are science related and a couple that are not. They're short pieces, so let me get to it. Love in space. I never had sex on the beach, but I made love in space. It felt so damn good, I busted a few astronauts on top of Venus. That solar cookie was too hot to resist. All right. This one is called astrology. I never liked science until I saw your backside. All of a sudden, I find myself in grad school studying astrology. All right. This one is called Soundtracks. You and I made such good love music after I've been rocking and rolling all up in your hot, smooth jazz. You squirted a 6G string guitar, birthing rhythm and blues soundtracks, spreading the gospel of hip hop, translated in tongues across nations. This one is called Power of Intelligence. Though my pencil is full of lead, it is anything but toxic. In my hand, I prevent the spread of ignorance that is chronic. By erasing thoughts in my head, chances are more probable I will not end up brain dead from a virus so illogical. There is no reason to die due to lack of common sense when I study to apply the power of intelligence, written in black and white with no other purpose than to live day and night as a wise and free man. And one more piece. It's called Brand of Shame. The two of us became one in this holy union called marriage, in the garden under the sun, fully nude, not to feel embarrassed, because our bodies were made perfect, beautifully intended to be exposed. Before crossing paths with the serpent, we were not aware of being unclothed, yet comfortably dressed in our own skin until we took a fateful bite of an apple that was forbidden, hid from God's plain sight when we heard the sound of his voice calling me by name, hoping our bodies would not be found wearing the awful brand of shame that could not be buried, swept, nor fly off to a place so far because his omnipresence had kept us from going under his radar. It should be of no surprise. Death has awaited you and I the moment we took a fateful bite, sunk our teeth in the serpent's lie. Now we are paying a steep cost, for sin has led to separation, not just from the land we lost, but from each other on our dates of expiration. Thank you very much for your time and your ears. I hope you guys have a blessed night.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Abraham. Come on in.
Yeah.
Dominguez Hills in the house. Dominguez Hills.
That was great, Abraham. Great. Good to
Stay Dominguez.
Abraham.
Listen, first of all, shout out RMT. All right, Ron Mark Thompson. Like I said, if you ain't down with RMT right now, you should be. Shout out to Goldberg. Always love hearing the Goldberg. Good to have Abraham back in the mix. Our very own native astrologist. We truly appreciate you for calculating all the things that you see and bringing it back to us. All right, coming up next. Listen, actually, before I do that, let me for the folks who might have come in early or come in late, actually, let me just jump into this real quick. We are streaming live, as I mentioned, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you would like to join us in the Zoom, the number's on the screen, 279-995-364. As I mentioned, we do this every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you're plugging in with the usual host, advocate of words with a Z, poetic license, send that cat, positive energy. Hope to see you soon, advocate. You can find me, Elemen2al.com, plug in 2023. Big things happening, man. Again, tonight's sign-up list is closed. Sign-up happens 24 hours before the open mic, which is Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You go to neweurekan.org. You click on full events calendar. You click on the Monday that you want to perform on. You need an artist RSVP ticket to get on the guaranteed list. It's the only way, and they will only populate 24 hours before the show, which is Sunday at 8 p.m. Also, the Monday night in-person open mic is going down. The Wednesday night slam hosted by La Bruja is going down. Make sure you're plugging into the brick and mortar. If Mondays, it's not enough. and you still need a little bit more to get you through the week, make sure you're plugging into Thunder Lung Thursdays and their incredible host, Ray Jane. It's rayjane.com. Make sure you're plugging in to one of the dopest hosts in the Zoomverse. And also the Friday night slam is happening in the cafe. All right. Coming down the home stretch, we have a genius in our midst. This brother has made sure that folks know that we get down in this community all the way in Japan. I'm telling you, if you have not experienced this poet yet, you are in for a treat. This cat is incredible. The one and only poet.
Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is great to see you. Happy New Year. The floor is yours.
Yeah, Happy New Year and see you again. I'm glad to see you again, Elemental. Tonight's theme is a scientific fact. So I research biology of bee and also honeybee. So I want to share my report with you. Please enjoy watching.
Bee. 137 bees in a hive. One queen bee, 28,000 female worker bees. 8,000 bees. Lifespan of female worker bees, 1 month. 3 weeks after birth, cleaning the hive. 4 weeks after birth, guarding the gate. Collecting honey, no birds. The lifespan of male bees, 1 month too. They don't work and affect female bees. The job is met with the queen bee. Once that is over, they stop to death. The queen bee lifespan is 3 to 8 years. Overwhelming longevity. Between male bees, laying and laying eggs until she dies. The beekeeper gets all the honey from his hive. With the bee family, with the beekeeper. With the bee family, with the beekeeper. With the bee family, with the beekeeper.
Thank you so much.
Award, you unmute yourself. Give it up for Poet Talk.
Being stung out.
Interesting to see you.
Yes.
You're a genius, Poet Talk.
Does it again.
Nice
Wow.
work.
So always such.
You
good
are
work.
the bee's
Always so
knees,
incredible.
man. You are the bee's
Yeah.
knees.
Thank you, Poetic Cube. Thank
Bravo.
you.
Bravo.
Oh, poet on as thick as honey. I know, for real. Listen, Poet Talk, the one and only genius out in Japan. Truly appreciate you. I believe he's also plugged in with the Kubota Slam. Make sure you're plugging in with Poet Talk and all that they do. Listen, I don't know too many other people that do that, right? It's difficult enough to be on theme and write a poem, but to also have a video that goes along with it, man, come on. That's next level creativity. Make sure you're plugging in with Poet Talk, a valued member of our community. Whew. Man, I love this community. Really, I love this community. Each and every one of you always brings something different, and you're always so unique with it. It is truly, truly my pleasure to be in this spot, truly. All right, from one genius to the next. This gentleman, I have to say, I've had the pleasure of working with a few times. Definitely have to say I appreciate him for staying up late. He is across the pond, but you know, genius never sleeps. So the one and only lantern carrier, please unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online and your incredible new work on the way. The floor is yours. Great to see you.
Thank you. Details in the chat. My new book, Whispering Praises to Love, will be out soon. I'm not on theme. From darkness to light. Searching, oh my beloved, I have been searching for you for millennia. Lost in an ocean of doubt and loneliness, deceit stabbed at my heart, while insecurity became friends with the sharp knife of gossip. Lost in an arena of tangled webs, I was a mess in this world of dunya, chained in my tainted castle and lost in a maze that brought me pain. I reached out to the bedroom chandeliers, but you seemed to be asleep, even as complacency sat on my despair. I descended the gorge of darkness, searching for meaning, yet carrying the fear of 1,000 shadows. Until one day, at the end of my human capacity, I reached out to the celestial heavens, kneeling like a saint with cupped hands, entreating to the light. You came, O merciful one, and the night in my abyss was vanquished by a bewitching moonlight. My river of tears of 1,000 sorrows became all but dissipated as I bask in the incandescent rays of your effulgent light. O light, my light, what a loving response to my burdens. Now you bring solace to my afflictions with the healing rays of the unspoken. You unravel the cords of my heart with the mellifluous breath of thy lips. The scent of his celestial wine has become the agony of my longing, and even the song bearers at dawn blends with thy melodious flute within. Oh, my sweetheart, oh, light in my darkness, I am unworthy of thy love. I once knew only the path of self-infliction. Desires rage within and tormented my soul. I was fettered to lust and rampant greed, pressing the red buttons of hate and self-destruction. Yet you carried me. I was like worn out shoes with clothes in tatters, a bucket so filled with holes I could hardly carry water. You came, a divine alchemist, bemusing me with your goodness and erasing my pain. Now I see only a golden luster, filling my soul with boundless light. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Boundless flight indeed. Unmute yourself, give it up
So
for Lantern
beautiful.
Carrier.
Wonderful, Lantern. Just wonderful.
Just incredible. Thank you
One
so
the
much.
only.
Thank you. Thank
Let
you,
the wisdom
Lantern.
be. Let the wisdom
Problem.
Thank you.
I told y'all from one genius to the next, right? But genius comes in many forms, right? The way Lantern delivers every single one of his poems is very similar to the way Poetalk delivers every single one of his poems. On point every single time. Thank you for staying in that theme, staying in your flow, and writing with your heart open to all of us to receive. Thank you very much, Lantern Carrier, a valued mainstay member of our community. Love hearing that cat every single chance I get. All right, coming up next. Listen, don't think we got a chance to hear this poet this year yet. And so any chance that we get to hear this poet, listen, I love poets like this because they are dedicated to what they do, right? Last year, I believe, one of the first times I hosted, they came through and they were in costume. They were not even on the list, but they came through in their costume to show love and energy to our community. That is why I continue to do what I do, to continue to energize our community. The one and only Marilee Johnson. Please unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is great to see you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I usually come Monday, so I recommend finding me here. So I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I usually steer clear, I feel like, of dark topics, so I've sort of been hesitant about whether I should do a couple of these, but I guess what I can do is promise you that by the end it'll be back to cheerier topics. So these are haikus. Not my happy place, but well-worn path. My knife's edge, myself as hostage. Fear of mortality, grave anxiety, the maw of a black hole. Reaching now for hope, no more clinging to sadness, refurbishing life. Adults steering carts in stores like a kid's carnival ride. Watch out! Duck! The drink I ordered was a virgin sex on the beach with cherry, please. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate your tolerance.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Mary Lee.
Angry Mary Lee last time.
Yeah.
We got sad Mary. This is Mary, all kinds of Mary Lee. Love it. Love it.
Always good to hear you. I'm so glad you're always here, Mary Lee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Listen, if that is Mary Lee Dark, I'm okay with that. Bring Mary Lee Dark whenever she's around. And we will make sure that we remind her that Mary Lee Light is also just as powerful. So we are very, very thankful and grateful that you are a member of our community and for sharing your incredible work with us week after week. Thank you, Mary Lee. All right. Coming up next, this is another poet. All right, came to us by way of the Let's Write a Book of Poems series, I believe, that Advocate was hosting. This poet has come through a few times and blessed us with some incredible work. Again, this is why I love our community, because we get a chance to hear new people come and their pens are so sharp. Oh, this is one of those people, the one and only Lady Catherine May. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online and plug into your incredible work. It is so great to see you. Welcome back. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I was going to write about science and facts and things, but my poor female weird brain got in the way. Here's my poem. Fighting with a tampon wrapper, tiny tab lost in the minimum, my entire being is screaming at a small wad of cotton. But then I felt the city street breeze my face to stillness, and life is beautiful again, all on its own. Today, I venture to the mailbox. A little key gives a rusty sigh as its lock crumbles around them without even a turn. We retire. Back home amid needles of a juniper, light enters in quiet fireworks. The sun continues to travel westward, slicing open the mail of past residents. Slow to prepare dinner, arm hairs reach for a toothbrush to clean dusty bones, then for a hammer, for bedtime prayers. Lord, hear my hungry silent screams. Eventually I will be ready to emerge from the branches, dressed like a ghost, a shimmer under layers of winter. I'll drop from a string into view out of bed to topple in the wind like a leaf from last summer. But no one can see me, spotlit in full moonlight, an acrobat, solo trapeze act. My soul is swinging from stars. I've nailed my ropes to the night sky, anchoring myself in a moving world. I practice taking up space, then secretly dine with the earth. Thank you.
Oh, mute yourself. Give it up for Lady Catherine May.
Beautiful, Catherine. Beautiful.
Catherine.
Awesome.
That was fantastic.
Best poem intro ever.
Thank you. Thank you.
We can't be vulnerable.
Glad you
This is balance.
And
but that was a scientific fact.
Okay, tell her, DG, tell her. Listen, sometimes, listen, it's a scientific fact that sometimes now in our lives, we can take our hands off the wheel, right? And things will just kind of go for a little bit. That's what's kind of happening here, right? Because the poetry that exists and that comes from you incredible beings, it just makes my job so easy because you carry all of us with the incredible energy that you not only generate, but share with us, right? listen, you're more than just a shimmer under layers of winter. Okay. And listen, if no one hears your hungry silent screams, listen, we do, because you put them into your poetry and we are listening. You are definitely not screaming into the ether. We are here listening. Thank you, Catherine, for being a valued member of our community. Whew. Listen, the way that people write sometimes, it's so vivid, right? And I truly love that vivid imagery. And as we are moving along from a poet who uses vivid imagery to another poet who conjures vivid imagery, we have now entered the sanctum sanctorum, and we are going to our resident Dr. Strange, the one and only Messiah Payne. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is good to see you, brother. Happy New Year. The floor is yours. Cast your spells.
Thank you, Elemental. It's good to be here. It's been a while. I am not on topic tonight, but I will read two poems. The first is called The Rose. Am I a cancerous whim? 3 decades of fallacy within the abyssal field of mere desire? Am I not what I meant to be? Am I the silence in the broken and disregarded, or the wise and fulfilled? A void of impressions where reason dies? Or is beauty my essential reflection in words of grace and feelings of affection? Now fortune seems to favor maturity. Youth expressed for me only the indelible meaning of despair. Where am I now that I can no longer despond my own self? For it rises, the rose you didn't think would grow. More importantly, who am I? Now that myself articulates the meaning reserved for authenticity, the rose you didn't think would grow. And here's the second poem. It's called And As the Thread of Perdition. And as the thread of perdition marred my conscience, I stared into the faintest glimmer of spirit in the night, and it spoke to me. Absence marks life with allusions to love. Illusion procures the only affirmation of emotional absence. The shore bears no mark of the sea's momentum. The tread of orbit no longer receives the stars. And yet, when lives are cast over the universe in a covenant of starlight, primordial abodes, sacraments of purpose, of home, are reflected dreams beholden to sacred reveries that stay forever in memory, so that in our lives we can recollect the accession of our form before we were born to existence. Souls who are on the edge of beatitude, ever loosening the boundary between beauty and love. That is what home is, not a place, not quite a time, but a matter of revelation, a liberated cognizance of self and being as eternal, where eternity is home. Thank you.
Come on, yourself. Give it up for
Messiah.
Lovely Messiah. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
to
you,
have you
Messiah.
back.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Missed you. Coming up soon, very soon come. Yeah.
Who doesn't want a sorcerer supreme on their team? Make sure you are giving Messiah a follow. Listen, that's why I said cast your spells, right? I don't know if y'all caught that, but listen, that's what this dude does. All right. He truly casts spells that we can see, right? And then he happens to, as another one of our members likes to do, raise the IQ in the room. If you listen to what Messiah is saying, listen, there are a few people that do what we do, right? And as he mentioned, fortune seems to favor maturity, right? And the maturity in these pens that I have witnessed this evening, fortune is smiling. So thank you, Messiah, for reminding us of those things. a mainstay of our community. Make sure you're plugging in to Dr. Strange. That dude's serious business. All right, coming up next is another newer mainstay of our community. Last week, this cat came through with that hypnotizing metronome with his poem. And listen, if he's got anything like that in store, I don't know if y'all ready for it. But listen, we are going to make sure we hear from this incredible gentleman this evening, the one and only subject matter. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is good to see you, brother. The floor is yours.
Greetings. I'm out of Long Beach. I'm trying to be all over right now. So with a shout out to CP and Great Beards. We get ready to make a move and do a little something. So, and my friend Felicia Cade, she out there in New York, so she doing her little thing. I don't know, she been by New Eureka, so she was telling me, everybody keep telling me, man, you got to come out here, you got to come out, you got to check this out, you got to check this out. So, okay. So I'm loving it, man. I appreciate y'all, taking me in and letting me be a part of the family, whatever. I appreciate that. And I'm gonna do a little piece. I was as a matter of fact, I was writing as we was talking and try on your topic. So I'm trying to see where this went, where the universe took me. The name of the piece is Algorithms 2.0. I dream of numerical expressions that I thought were beyond the capacity of my mind. I thought I heard God talking to me, but can I be sure? Damn, I could have sworn I saw my computer blink. Is that you, Lord? I'm hearing persistent voices, mathematical voices holding conversations in my brain. I feel a constant barrage of derivatives surging through my veins. I feel a worldwide web of digital spiders scurrying through my spine. Or is this some unauthorized pedo manipulating puppet wire so that everyone is on one accord? Lord, is that you whispering that reality is better off ignored? Maybe I'm just paranoid. But I know I saw crop dusting above concrete projects and asphalt playgrounds last night. I had a dream that I was being vaccinated by a satellite. There was a tall building with no windows. I saw faceless scientists inside dressed in hazmat suits, stirring beakers filled with nested if statements, ones and zeros. Clouds of smoke were rising and polluting the air. I think I got a contact. Is that the song of the Pied Piper calling me, or power lines mocking by mimicking the vibrations of my natural key, the vibrations of my For some reason, I feel the urge to walk briskly. I feel my being infiltrated by a gift of Trojan horses whose content could be waiting to visit me. Algorithms came up through the ground like blades of grass and persuasively guided my footsteps. Are those God's perfect steps? Is that my GPS? The unholy ghost has taken over my flesh, my lips babble in indecipherable tongues. I don't know whether to praise, dance, or to run. My life is spinning around in circles. Am I a malfunctioning computer glitch? Hallelujah. Praise be to somebody, 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 somebody. Subject matter, that's that piece.
Said unmute yourself, give it up with subject matter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Great job, Gerald.
Break the mold. Break the mold.
Wow.
Wow.
Reset it.
Well said. Well
Wow.
said. What's the info on the Long Beach open mic?
Hey, we're there first Saturdays at 7:00. Just let you come on through. Just come on through. It's always room.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, see what I'm saying? This is the beautiful part about our community, right? It extends and it stretches from California to New York, right? To India, to Japan, to the Philippines. We're truly an international community. All right. Make sure you are plugging in with our community. That man, listen, I don't know how many of y'all caught what he said, right? First of all, that cat said they were crop dusting over concrete projects. And secondly, he mentioned nested if statements. I was a CS major for a little while. That is all computer science and coding. Listen, I love how poets they take what you know, Rubik's Cube that shit and hand it back to you and tell you to learn about yourself, man. Subject matter, you are truly a valued member of our community. I appreciate you for coming through this evening and sharing your incredible artistry. Woo! Make sure you get some spray for them worldwide digital spiders too, because they are a nuisance. All right, coming up next. Real quick, I wanted to shout out Rich Daddy Glennon in the building. Appreciate you for coming through. Holly Googe watching on YouTube. Thomas D'Agostino, apologize if I pronounce your name wrong, who's watching on Facebook. Mary Jane Marcus and the Nubian Wellbeing Botanics. Appreciate y'all for checking us out on the social media streams. All right, we are coming down to our last few poets of the evening. All right, this next poet, again, another poet, has their hands in a lot of different books, a lot of different styles, right? Has come along and does a lot of things in their poetry in a lot of different ways. Again, gets all the way into what they do. And I truly, truly just love that type of energy. 1/3 of the Jersey Trinity, the one and only Terry Rose Jertson. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is great to see you. Happy New Year. Floor is yours.
You too. Hi, everybody. I'm on theme tonight. Swedish scientists are hoping to develop robotic clones which mirror the personality and consciousness of your deceased loved ones. According to the Swedish newspaper, a funeral agency called Phoenix is already looking for volunteers who would give them permission to replicate images of loved ones who passed away. Initially, robots will come in the form of a machine like Alexa or Siri and will be able to answer questions and give responses in the form of a selected person who has passed away. Haiku. Grandma and Nana, I am coming for you two. You've been dead too long. Ex-lovers return. Your death was unexpected. Relatives miss you. My best friend Garvin, taken too soon from this earth. Watery grave end. He crashed in a plane. Hero saved his wife, sacrificed himself in the process. Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Terry Rose Jertson.
Yes.
That was really fun, Terry.
Scientific fact there too. It's like scary scientific fact, but it worked. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Terry.
Absolutely. Scary scientific facts, right? And listen, Terry's on point. I remember hearing about this story, right? Where they'll even, it almost seems like they're trying to download a consciousness into an AI that you can interact with, right? Say, oh, well, let's give us a series of things that this person said, and then they will calculate what this person might respond to when you ask them questions. It really is freaky, but they are really already doing it. It truly is science fact. Thank you, Terry, for plugging in like that. I appreciate that, really. Now that when I first saw it, I remember thinking that, oh my goodness, this is a way for people to live forever, right? And clearly they did a movie, right, Transcendence, where the guy, became a part of the machinery, right? They've been trying to do it for years, Johnny Mnemonic, The Matrix, right? But they are really trying to truly make it a reality in our lifetime. So be aware and be on the lookout because it is coming. And for some of you who don't know, in the same vein, there is an AI that writes poetry. And if you're not sure, look it up. There is an AI that writes poetry. All right. Thank you, Terry, for all your energy and being a valued member of our community. All right, coming up next is a newer member of our community, has clearly got the bug, and we are thankful for their continued energy and coming and bringing that fire that they have, right? And this is something I want all of you to remember. Anytime I talk about fire or energy, listen, we all possess it, but we all have an individual burn. And that's what makes it so significant. And when we add it all together, we get this amazing community that we have here in front of us. Please unmute yourself, the one and only Daniel Fernandez. Welcome back. We are blessed to have you in this space this evening. Let the folks know where they can find you online. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I wanted to first thing say thank you for the intro and for everyone for listening, because it took years to get out of this shell of, trying to, like I said, 10 years of writing and trying to get published now because of struggle. It was a bit difficult, and I appreciate you guys listening. For today, I'm not in theme, but I do have one poem, which is brand new shit that I just made yesterday, and hope you guys like. Usually I write about the struggle, so once again, it is about the struggle. This one is called Transparent Lives. Fuck, I am stuck within the loop, a Ferris wheel of blame for not expressing the truth, a foot on thorns while biting the forbidden fruit, oblivious to the pain like a kid with cartoons, broke and ashamed, assuming I can work my way out of it. Doesn't do shit and the stress is getting me sick. When a dream fades, the thoughts flourish. You hate yourself in ways you never expected. Managing money as if I know how. Investing in the future became impossible now. Playing catch up with debt collectors on my ass. 2 steps forward just to move 5 steps back. A recession worse than 1929. Fucking depressed from being so far behind. I got a wife to support and kids to provide. A soul fetching for acceptance while patience has died. Running low on fuel to stretch $40 for the week. Starved for a couple days, denying poverty. Being so naive to reality. Had to beg God, but you can't pray for money. Jane, my love, I gotta talk to you. I've been struggling to pay for shit I can't refuse. Mortgages next week and I know you're tight, but need the assistance to smite the contrite. Really? You're asking me now. Can't afford groceries, my wallet doesn't allow. I've noticed you're distant because you don't fucking speak. I am your wife and you just ignore me. No, I don't. I just don't want you to worry. Bullshit. You pay for things assuming you can handle it. Well, yeah, for the most part, I had enough to pay. Food to buy and life to maintain. Wake the fuck up. You got a daughter, you know. She growing faster than chives on a good day's glow. Pull out of your stocks, but oh, that's right. You lost it all and claim with time things will reunite. You don't have enough for this roof. Now what? Assuming you knew the secret and fucked us, didn't you? I get it. Fuck. Chill. Can you? Clouds of judgment does come with their issues. Take a second to watch life from my view. Regret follows me around like a tattoo. Oh, sorry, big man, as if I don't suffer too. I clean houses, motherfucker, something you don't do. Use what I gained for our child, clothes and toys. Their emotions come first, a life you can't avoid. Working as a mechanic, I know it's tough. Understand you are stressed when things are rough. Sold a bunch of what we had to pass by. We fight ourselves to live transparent lives. Don't start your shit playing possum. Damn it, Jane, close your mouth for once. I get it, you got shit on your plate. Complain about the rain, but you indoors anyways. Thank you for the clothes and toys. Cleaning houses for the money we stretch to enjoy. But I got this boulder of stress that's above my head. Scared of the future, afraid to spend. I put my soul into trying to satisfy your right. Speak in ways my hand can't write. A check of love my thoughts can't sign. Ignore the mistakes while you count mine. Okay, bitch, go look for a place to work then. You figure shit out like those days we paid rent. Watch me pack my shit and surprise you like a present by walking the fuck out of your life like a boring event. Take our child and raise her right. To survive a cold world, you gotta manually ignite. You know it all, don't you? Had jobs before, the idea isn't new. Should have managed your shit a little better. Focus on bills instead of whatever. Now you lost, looking at me for pleasure. Use me as leverage with my bank as a method of measure. I'm asleep in the living room, fuck you. Go, keep talking and stacking my problems as an excuse. Blame me for everything despite the mental abuse. I'm done with the fighting and being rude. Can't sleep well, rotate the neck. Take my time with it like singing the alphabet. Couch for today doesn't seem like it can do any harm. The couch gets comfy with sheets from Raymond. Noted. I know where they're at. Getting hit in the head with a blanket I wasn't informed to catch. Livid and annoyed, I turn just to watch her laugh. Fucking life of mine, then proceed to tramp away like a cat. Laying the sheets nice and flat to then fall into the settee without destroying my back. Annoyed at the time, I wasn't thinking about the impact. Patience was lost and kindness was sapped. Fuck, now what? That my eyes don't close, covered in yellow like an egg roll, an ocean filled with dismal. My heart is open while the devil attacks my lobes. I gotta try shit out and make a profit, do night shifts and reel in some tips, become a taxi driver or chauffeur. I can't. Telling my wife would deprive her, drowning myself in shallow water, inhale the pain with a hard cider. I try to keep my life within a binder, which didn't work since the company transferred, invested my savings and became a mechanic. For the most part, success was equipped. Years passed and still following the script, yet I didn't realize the bears shot down my battleship. The couch started to feel confined. My wife was indignant as her patience demised. Love is evil and always in disguise, but with time, the feeling becomes a series you can't rewind. Time punched me in the face. It became slow and out of pace. It looked into my eyes and demanded me to wait, still wondering why since there hasn't been an update. My daughter is 13, and I hope she understands. I am trying my best, but the proof isn't in my hands. I thought about buying property and let the wealth expand. The markets crashed and I was scammed. The system sucks, man, but I'll find a way. Shoot karma where it hurts and let the blood remain. Should have known, but that's life. We dive into situation assuming the outcome is right. Love you both. I know it's hard to show. I work until my boss can promote. I fucked up, that I know, but the intention isn't wrong, the timing provoked. The love is genuine when the soul can devote. The situation made it seem like a joke. I took a pull to let the mind drift. Close my eyes until the idea doesn't exist. Wait and ponder before my body can notice. Fall asleep so that tomorrow I can begin to fix shit. Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for
Let it out of you.
Daniel.
Let it out. Better out than in you.
Good job, Daniel.
Let it
Thank
out.
you.
Listen, I know that is a difficult one, right? But thank you. Thank you for putting us in that space. And this is what I mentioned in the beginning, folks, right? We do have some explicit lyricists, and sometimes these flashbacks can be triggering, right? But this is what poetry is about, right? I like to say that poetry is a walking, breathing trigger warning, because you never know when you're walking into an open mic what you're gonna hear, right? You're gonna hear someone like Dr. Strange. You're gonna hear someone like Mr. Tez, the Jedi Master, right? But then you're gonna hear something like what Daniel just did. And you have to know that that is just as much creativity, that is just as much healing, that is just as much energy and power as the others, right? It is about healing, and it is about putting that energy to use in good, positive ways. Thank you for reminding us of that, Daniel. Listen, those things, I'm glad that you're on the other side of it, whether it's fact or fiction. I'm glad that you're on this side of it and here to share your incredible energy with us. Thank you for being a mainstay of our community. All right, coming up next, again, we are rounding out the last few, folks. All right, listen, this next poet, again, has come through and is now a mainstay member of our community. We like to say, poets are one of us. This poet definitely knows that they are one of us, and they continue to come and bring their incredible energy. I don't see the babies this evening, but I'm sure they're in earshot. The one and only Madi. Please unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is good to see you. The floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I posted my IG account on my next to my name. I'm going to be here every Monday. I am going to be in person for the hybrid open mic. So I'm going to take the trip out to New York for that. So I'll be in the city. And I wrote something new. Actually, I wrote it today on theme. And it's titled The Opening of My Unfinished Thesis. All right. If science is defined as the study of behavior of the physical and natural world through observation, and if science is defined as experimentation and testing of theories against evidence obtained, then I will argue that poetry is science, and that would make all poets scientists. Our inquisitive minds evolved from a single cell in Africa, mitochondrial Eve, and the metaphysical teachings of life molded us into these unique beings. The wiring of our minds is an intricate web of neurotransmitters, sending signals via delicate silk threads, synapses fueled by the passion of the spoken word, which propagate hypotheses about humanity in subliminal ways. We are theorists who proudly write our thesis on the back of napkins and crumpled CVS receipts because these observations of human exchange must be captured, documented, and told before they are forgotten. You see, we poets are experts in qualitative research as we are always studying the nature of phenomena, not just the number of occurrences. Phenomena, defined as a fact or situation that is observed to exist or happen, and a poet's scripture capture that better than any lens. We use metaphors the same way scientists work with cells and atoms. With our words, we construct models of the way the world should be, and we make replicas of the destruction caused by man for the world to see. And like a mad scientist, I discovered how to make inanimate objects like the bathroom walls talk as I recite my poems. And the walls echo my thoughts and remind me that I am still alive. So again, if science is defined as the study of behavior of the physical and natural world through observation, and if science is defined as experimentation and testing of theories against evidence obtained, then my hypothesis is true. Poetry is science, and us poets are all scientists. That's it.
Just still give it up for Marty.
Oh, yeah. And it is true. It is true. We all are scientists.
Powerhouse,
We all
Marty.
are scientists. I got to agree on that. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
Scientists of words.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You see, you see what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta just be there, right? That was a once in a lifetime thing, Marty, and new shit, and dope, and hot, and piping fresh off of the assembly line. It's experts in qualitative research, right? Poetry is science, baby. Woo! So now, in the first part of this new year, right now you have poetic license, and now you are a scientist, right? You listen, your resume is only getting better, and this is only like barely the second week of the new year. Listen, we are strengthening our community in more ways than one. Woo, yes, because sometimes we do write our thesis on crumpled napkins, but they're usually genius ideas that someone will take and do some amazing things with. Thank you, Marty, for being just a mainstay, right? For being one of us and reminding us that, you know, taking the time to write new shit, sometimes it comes off amazing, right? Thank you. Thank you. You are very much appreciated. Make sure you're plugging into Marty. All right. Again, last few poets, folks. I appreciate you for hanging on. I'm gonna get you out of here. Coming up next, listen, I am so glad that this poet decided to come and join us this evening. It has been a few weeks since we've seen them, but they always have something that we need to hear, right? Their perspective is one of their own, and I truly, truly look forward to hearing them and what they have to bring next. The one and only CC Arshagra. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is great to see you. Floor is yours.
I'm loving it. Every moment of tonight. This is amazing, amazing night. I am inspired. Paul, I think you broke the mold of the poem that my favorite poem in life, I think. I got to hear that. I got to read that. That was unbelievable. And I'm just so inspired tonight. I'm going to break my own mold right now. And I'm gonna go someplace. I got a little poem for you, but before that, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's science, maybe it's theater, maybe it's a poem. But on the theme, which I've never done here before, let's say this: is reality and it's a fact. And this is reality, it's a fact. And they're both science, but they don't agree. They cannot coexist. This is a fact. This is a fact. That's fucking religion. That's fucking organized religion. Science that can't handle a question is fucking organized religion. It's got to be afraid, and it cannot be afraid of fucking being asked a fucking question. Do not tell a question to shut up. And I picked those cups out, and that they're special just for you. Okay, theater's over. This is from my book. I spent my life putting free speech on the line. That's what I do. It's subtitled Human Rights, Free Speech, and the Voice. I had maybe too much fun doing that. I'm sorry. So this is there's 3 parts in this. One is about coming up to an open mic and being scared, vulnerable. Daniel, thank you. And the other is Death of an Ego, where you got to face your own shit and die your own death. Third one is a bunch of character poems. This one's called Controller. There's good, bad, ugly, and different in here. Controller the poet. Let me start again. To Controller the poet, all the world is a chessboard and all of its occupants pawns. No thing can happen without disturbing Controller's need to dictate the realities of fear. Every utterance Controller would bark, murmur, or say was all manipulation and constant undermining to the utmost degree of every self-serving benefit. Controller the poet's only reason for living was to acquire, possess, know, and own power. For Controller had no faith or hope or understanding that was not focused on the concept of kill or be killed. Controller could not, or by choice would not, conceive coexistence or the existence of peace. Controller would harm you regardless of your good, bittersweet, or evil disposition. For Controller had no conscience to taint, nor love for even one lonely child. Thank you. I love New York. That's not a cliche.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for CCR Sean.
So great to hear you, CC. Just great. Glad you're here.
Yes.
Powerful,
Think
passionate,
about the
sincere.
question. Do not tell a question to shut up. That's incredible.
Listen, that type of physical representation of your poetry, again, that type of energy is what really gets my blood boiling, right? Because it's more than just words, right? It's more than just the screen, these boxes, right? It's a physical representation of the passion that you have in your life. And breaking the glass is like, come on, man. This is one for the ages. And I appreciate all of y'all for coming through with something new, right? Listen, we all know each other, right? We know each other's cadences and flows and things, right? But we always try to continue to push each other, right? And listen, we got one more poet this evening, and I'm going to challenge all of you this evening also. So let us get to the closer this evening. This is a newer member, soon to be, but I believe this is their first time with us. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So
this is my first time.
Without telling me where in the world, specifically you are, where are you located?
You can find me on IG, Nemo Soon Words. I'm out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't mind telling you that, but and I'm part of the Guerrilla Poets.
Guerrilla Poets. All right. Shout out to the Guerrilla
So,
Poets. I know
big
that
thank you
there's another
to-
Guerrilla Poet in the building as well. Listen, we've been doing this 145 weeks, man. I am glad to see you have made it to us. We are here to hear what you have to share with us, right? Again, I've seen you've been hanging out with us all evening. I'm glad we get a chance to hear you. I love hearing new voices, and I love having a new voice be the closer. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. What I have tonight is a micro triptych, which is 3 micro poems thematically connected. When my father decided it was time to go, he went. There was no hug that would hold him, but I did make him cry. On the day he walked away, he turned back with tears in his eyes. I think in that moment, leaving me hurt. Knowing this was the forever kind of goodbye stung him a little bit. A few tears on a causeway shed for a son who was never good enough for him to stay. The phoenix refuses to rise, so we lay in the ashes, despair and die, staring at the ceiling, not talking. Still, because moving only makes her hold on tighter. I can feel my heartbeat slowing. Anger left hours ago. He didn't turn to look, just slammed the door. I heard the car peeling out into the night. I don't know if he'll come back this time. I wish his absence felt peaceful. Everyone here is broken because everyone here lost the fight. The fire's gone out. The air smells like loss, and I'm waiting for someone who isn't coming. I come downstairs to find my bad brain drinking coffee and reading the funny pages. The room smells of stacks of disappointment and the bitter, pungent dregs of shame. He shifts in his chair as I step over and around the boxes and the laundry he's strewn in my way. Although he moves his face closer to the pages, I can sense his attention pulling on my shoulder blades as I try to shrug it into place. I know he's feeling for his chance to slide up behind me so he can slip his frigid fingers around my heart and underneath my balls, gripping not like a lover, not like a practitioner, no, as the possessor who keeps and does not share. He wants us to be alone with our pain. We dance each morning like 2 old lovers vying to lead, as he tries to convince me to stay in and shut the curtains and find a screen, and I fight my way to the door. I cannot help but smile when I hear him scream as I drag him out into the light of the possibility of love. Thank you.
What an ending. Unmute yourself. Give it up for
One
Nemo.
of us. Yes, it is. Yes, he is. Yes.
One of us.
One of us.
That's
Way to
how we
close the
do
night
it.
out. That's just a wonderful poem to close the night.
Listen, Nemo, you heard the folks. I will tell you, you have officially fucked up because you need to find yourself here every Monday night. As you heard the people say, you are now one of us. So make sure you're putting your information in the chat so the community can harass you and remind you that you need to be here on Monday nights. Woo! Welcome to the Weirdo Corner and the greatest poetry community in the world. Thank you for sharing your energy with us. All right, folks, we have come to the end of the night. I have to say thank you very much for sharing all of this incredible energy with us this evening, for hanging out with us all this extra time. Really, I really just can't say how much I love y'all, really, because y'all just make Monday night everything. All right, make sure you're checking into the cafe for all the upcoming events. Make a donation, get some merch. Make sure you're representing your community in your part of the world. Plug into the socials, the YouTube, the Facebook, the IG, the Twitter. Make sure you're plugging into Thunder Lung Thursdays. Look, we like to call Mondays the circus, or like the Jedi Master says, Inferno Night. Thursdays is therapy. Really plug in with Ray Jane and the guitarist of Thursday Night. They really go down. Also wanted to make sure I mentioned Hybrid is definitely on hold until possibly next month. So make sure you're plugging into the cafe to solidify the dates. You can find me, Elemen2al.com. Take the T out, put in the number 2. Shout out to the song hero of our community, Ron Mark Thompson. If you're not down with RMT by now, you definitely should be. Make sure you're signing up next week. The theme for next week is In the Spirit of Freedom. Here's my challenge for you real quick before we get to the closing poem. All of you beautiful poets who I consider family, I would like for you to do me a favor. Find someone and bring someone with you next week. At least one person. I want all of you to at least bring one person, whether they read or not, bring them into the fold. Let's help grow our community in the way that we can. I truly love every one of you. Thank you for being here with us all evening. And as usual, you've been listening to my voice all night. And so I am going to pass it to one of our incredible mainstays who has been with us all night. And this is why I love our community, because the energy just goes around, and when you need it, it comes back to you. The one and only Mia Aguilera. Please send us home. Love all of y'all. Hope to see you next week. Take it away, Mia.
Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Good night, sweet poet. May your dreams be as imaginative as tonight's poems. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for inviting the spirit of Miguel Algarin into your home. This has been the Monday night online open mic, presented by the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, hosted by the motherfucking storm god Elemen2al. On behalf of the community tonight, I, Mia Aguilera, would like to say good night, sweet poet.